And welcome back to ARC 313. This is video 6. We had to let things dry a little bit so we could move into the next phase. But what we've learned so far is the flat wash method, erasure with the thirsty brush, eraser with the paper towel, gradient down, gradient up. And now we're going to do what's called overpainting. And you basically take the exact same color, same mixture that you've been working with. Just go about a third of the way down on this top box and do another layer. So it's a flat wash over the wash you already did. And what it shows you is that you can get, it's the same process, you still have to do the thirsty brush, but you get another layer of value. And so let's say you painted something and it was just a little bit too light, you could come back in and do it again. Or if you wanted to have different values of the same chroma and hue, you could just do this overpainting technique. Now, it's dry painting, so it has to be already dry before you can start. So what you do is you lift it up to the light and see if it's still glistening. If it is, then you can't go forward. But right now, the only one that's glistening is this one I just did. So I can do another one here. And I can do another one with a completely different color. So you can actually do overlays. You can do overpainting with different colors as well. And it kind of changes both colors. This is not a pure blue and it's no longer pure mustard. It's kind of a mixture of the two. But it's a way to get kind of another technique of overpainting in. I'll do one with red too, just to show the warmer, more harmonious color range. Voila. So using the thirsty brush to pull up the excess. Here too. Voila. So now we've got overpainting in the same color and overpainting with different colors, contrasting or harmonious. The same thing can happen in the gradients. Now I told you I liked one better than the other. I like to go dark to light because I like being able to pull up all the excess at the bottom. And but this one turned out just as good. Now, if you decide that you always prefer going dark to light, but you have to go light to dark on this particular one, you could just turn the painting over and go dark to light, and then it's still the same overall effect. Now you can also do overpainting gradients in over your existing gradient. And in this case, you go light to dark, and then you take the other color and go dark to light. So let's do it with the red color. So I'm gonna get a puddle started here with red. I'm gonna go start out dark, almost pure pigment. But each time I go in, I'm going to add a little bit more water. And at the end, I'm just going to use straight dirty water. And what that gives me is a double gradient. That goes from dark red to mustardy yellow. This is the alizarin crimson, by the way. So, double overpainting, double gradients, overpainting with different colors, gradient. Now we're ready to start the wet on wet technique. And in this particular instance, we start with something that Vern Swanson used to teach us the wet on wet technique. But this first thing that we would do is getting ahead of ourselves with the Neil Watson method. Neil Watson always starts out any painting by hitting the canvas with some beads of a color. And what's cool about that is it enables you to like not feel so it makes you feel like you don't have to proceed with trepidation because you have this blank canvas. Right now it's already ruined, and so we can just move on from there. But in this case, it's great to explore the wet on wet technique because it gives us something to react to. And the whole point of the wet on wet right now is to just learn what the medium does as you put it on the page. So what I want you to do is just be experimental at this point and just start moving colors together. Let them just barely kiss and see what happens. But you're going to just explore with a range of different colors and see how they interact with each other. What do you do when you mix them right on the page? What happens when you create a line of white by just barely not touching? What happens if you use your pencil as a brush? What happens if you use the back of your brush as a pencil? Maybe we can get a big blob of something and then blow it. See what happens. If you are in your kitchen like I am, you can maybe grab some salt. Throw a little bit of salt on there and see what happens. Salt acts as a desiccant and it starts to pull up some of the excess moisture and create some interesting stains. So just have fun in this phase. Just paint to your heart's delight, and just experiment with different colors, different techniques, and just watch what happens, observe. Because these kinds of mistakes that are going to happen in here are the things that we're going to try and exploit later on in this class. So you've got on the left-hand side here, you've got the more conservative Vern Swansen approach. And on the right-hand side here, we have the more free and dynamic wet-on-wet technique. So once you've done all of this and you've practiced both, and you can do more of these, you don't have to just limit it to one. Then I would like you to do your homework assignment, which is to do something from your design project in the Vern Swansen method. So you've seen the examples, you've learned the technique. Put together a little drawing about 9 by 12 that is expressive of your design ideas for your studio, but also using these techniques. And if you don't have a design project, you could follow in Vern Swansen's footsteps and essentially do an island drawing. So do an abstract island drawing using this technique, sort of borrowing from what you're learning from Vern Swansen. And remember to do your sketch of the day. So now, that thing that you drew that I sent you earlier is the outline, and you can basically fill that in with these techniques. You can use the same colors that he did, or you can branch out and do your own thing. This is probably, no, it's not dark enough. So One last thing I'd like you to do is when these dry, I'd like you to add one more layer to each one, so that you go a third of the way down again and just add another wash, so you can see how the values get darker and darker as you move through it. All right, have a great week of painting. Remember that you can contact me during the office hour for 2 hours on the open Zoom link if you have any questions about any of this, or you can email me at any time. Have a great week.